Hey guys, today's episode is walking through how I set up both AT&T and Comcast on the same Wi-Fi using my router's built-in functionality, then put in several different access points throughout my house to ensure no dead spots anywhere. Enough talking, let's go. Alright, here's a visual representation of the system. Starting on the bottom left, you'll see there's an AT&T modem with Wi-Fi. I don't use the AT&T Wi-Fi. Comcast modem, both of these get plugged into a router that I bought. You'll see a picture of that in one sec. This then goes to a switch. If you're unfamiliar with a switch, imagine the 6-outlet surge protectors you can buy to get more outlets on your wall. Same concept, except with network connections. From there, you plug your wired devices in. You know, maybe a NAS, a Roku if you don't want to deal with wireless, anything else you want to have wired. And then your access points get plugged into that. Let me show you what these things look like. Here is my router. Here's my AT&T. Here is my Comcast connection. I personally happen to have 2 switches. You don't need 2 switches. Then you see here, this is, like I said, switch is just a port expander, basically, for network ports. And I got a whole bunch of wired devices. The in-ceiling access points, they're pretty cool nowadays. They're pretty low profile. The one I got happens to be the UniFi, Nano HD, and AP Pro. So you'll see here, if you're walking in the ceiling, you're not even going to notice that, right? If you are not lucky enough to be able to get access right to the cables above the ceiling, then you could just put this on the wall, like over there, or something like that, and that'll be good enough. Let me show you what this looks like on the Ubiquiti screens. All right, this is the interface for my Edge router. And you'll see I'm in the wizard section. They make this thing so easy for you. Basic setup is for the 99% of people who just have the one ISP. If you happen to have 2, you click load balancing. It could not possibly be any simpler. They ask you, hey, which port did you plug the different ISPs into? And you'll see down here, if you happen to have one super fast ISP and one slower one, then you can even specify this is just a failover. Maybe you don't want to split between the two of them, but if one goes down, that's the only time, like if you have fiber and DSL, right? So then you plug those in. I'm not going to obviously mess with mine because it's working. You go back to the dashboard, and then boom, there are your public IP addresses. Obviously, I'm blacking out the last couple of mine. And you can see that it is connected. And then these are my switches that happen to be connected. So this is about the easiest thing I've ever seen. I'm not going to walk you through the setup of the dual WAN. There's a million YouTube videos on setting that up for whichever router you happen to have. Now let's go take a look at the access point setup. So when you first pull up the UniFi access point browser, you'll see all your access points listed. If you have one that is brand new, then you'll see a little adopt button in here, and then you adopt that into your network. As soon as you do that, there are a ton of options you can set. That's way too detailed for this video. I just want to give you a high-level overview. So moving on then, once you have those access points listed, what you do is go create a floor plan in like Photoshop or whatever package you want, right? Upload it into here. You click this set floor plan scale, which says, you know, you pull up a line and like how many feet, etc. is that going to be. And that tells you what the radio strength of each of your access points are. Here's the cool thing. What the UniFi software does is allows you to pick between 2.4 gigahertz coverage and 5 gigahertz coverage. For those of you guys who don't know, 2.4 gigahertz is the older style. It goes through walls like nobody's business, so you can see here the reach is a whole lot bigger, but the problem is it goes through your neighbor's walls as well. So we have an apartment building to our left. We have an apartment building behind us. Every single person in my neighborhood has their own Wi-Fi, it seems. Any location in the house, we can see 20 different 2.4 gigahertz networks. Channel contention is through the roof, super crowded. So to the extent possible, I want to try and do 5 gigahertz coverage. Problem with 5 gigahertz, doesn't go through walls that easily. And so you're going to need a lot more access points, but the nice thing then is that's not crowded at all because your neighbor's Wi-Fi isn't going to hit you, right? And so you can see what that looks like here. With the UniFi software, you can even adjust the strength, which is why this middle one is a lot bigger, right? I am going to try and play with the strength of this access router because this room down here for me happens to be a place where people will work. So I'm thinking if I crank up the power here, maybe that'll reach. And if it doesn't, then I'm just going to plop in another access point here. That is assuming the 2 gigahertz coverage is crowded here. So that's it, nice and light. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment below and I'll try to answer it. Thanks.